now tuning in to the All Things Good podcast.
Is this thing on? Happy 2026, y'all. It's Jovanna once again with the All Things Good podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast that helps you with mental health, self-development, and your overall wellness, helping you become the greatest version of yourself. I'm back, y'all, and actually I never left. I've been working behind the scenes, and I'm excited to announce that the season 2 of the ATG podcast will be launching in March with new guests, new hope, and new light. Listen, you can follow us wherever you're listening right now: YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and WMNF.org. But also, we will now be featuring on Roku TV. So if you have a smart TV, I hope you do. But if you don't, listen, no judgment. No judgment. Because listen, we all have a different journey. And if you still have an old school TV, at least you have a TV, right? If you're going off your phone, you can download on your phone as well. Go to the Roku app, download or search for Air 24/7 TV, and then make sure you set your clock to 7 p.m. because your girl will be on Air 24/7 starting in March. But enough about that. We are in a difficult yet exciting time. And what I want to talk about today is how to maintain a heart that is pure and soft while remaining in a world that is cold and chaotic. You think it's not possible, but it is. I mean, anything is possible, right? And I want to give you pointers on how to remain pure-hearted, especially now because with everything that is going on, with the Epstein files, with a president or, you know, political events that are taking place, politicians at war, Instagram wars, tweet wars. Yeah, we're in for a ride. We are going through it right now. We have race wars. We have so much division and hate that is being spread, quote unquote. And I say that because even in the midst of all this chaos, there is still a group of people holding on to their light. There is still a group of people holding on to their love, believing in hope, believing in unity, and believing in a new world. And so that is the point of today's discussion. What is your mind set to? What is your heart set to? Listen, with everything that's going on, it is okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel sad, but it's not okay to remain there. This podcast talks about positivity, but not toxic positivity. I know that there are two sides of the spectrum, and I know that anger is a part of our emotions. It is not something that we should deny. It is not something that we should just cast away and consider it as evil. It is something that we should embrace, that we should feel, and it is something that we should alchemize and turn it into the thing contrary to hate, which is love. How do we do that? We do that with intention. We do that by practicing intention and self-awareness. I say intention because I'm going to speak about my personal experience and journey these past couple of days or past couple of weeks. I'm an empath. And when I see things that hurt my soul, when I hear things, I hear it. When I feel it, I feel it. I feel it. I feel it too much. And I'm learning to control that because there have been days where I will completely disassociate with the world and I will cry and I will go into a place of like depression or hermit mode. And I'm learning to alchemize that. I'm learning to feel that. I'm learning to take that anger, to take that part of me that seeks and demands justice, that seeks and demands change around us. I'm learning to take that anger and turn it into something more creative, more productive, more encouraging, because I can easily come on here and spill out everything that I am feeling. I can spill out everything that I have felt within the past couple of days. But I'm not going to do that because I know and I'm aware that whatever I speak around me holds weight, holds power. And so what I am doing is I am practicing balance. I see what's happening. I understand what's happening. I feel what's happening, but I'm not allowing myself to stay there. So what I'm doing is not just in my device, but in my mind is creating a new programming, a new algorithm. And that's what I need you guys to do. Because if you think about it like this, the more you focus on something, the more you focus on the hate and the division, the more you're going to see it, just like the algorithm. If you're listening to reels and you're tapping the screen and you're sharing and you're commenting on all these posts on your FYP that pertain to division, hate, and destruction, then that is what you're going to continue to see in your feed. But if you begin to search with intention things that bring you joy, what are the things that bring you joy? For me, I love music. I love dancing. I love nature. I love animals. I love water, all these things. So I will intentionally on my Facebook, on my TikTok, I love laughing. I will put in my search bar comedy. I will put in my search bar animals, horses, birds, dolphins. I will put in my search bar music, dancing, because I know that the more that we set our intention and our attention to the thing that we don't want, it will continue to be. But if we focus on the thing that we want, is what we will continue to see. So we have to begin to reprogram what we are focusing our attention on. If you need to unplug from the TV, from the news, from your feeds, then do that. But don't unplug from all things good. Because this is the one podcast, and I know there's plenty of more, but my goal and my hope and my intention is to shine light, bring joy and love, and help you change your mindset. So if you're gonna plug into something that is good. That's the point. Plug into something that brings you joy. Ask yourself, what is bringing me joy right now? And in those moments where you feel anger, feel it. Like I said, this isn't toxic positivity. Anger is an emotion and it is needed because it shows us the thing that we need to work on. It shows us the thing that we need to alchemize in our life. So with me, the Epstein files, the injustice, all these things bring me anger. But what I am doing intentionally is creating this podcast, alchemizing that anger to spread positivity, joy, hope, and light, because that is the thing that I am called to do. If I am feeling sadness, because obviously I've felt these things, what am I doing? I say, you know what? I feel it, okay, but I can't stay here. Because if I stay here, I know that my world will affect the world of someone else. Who? Those closest to me, my daughter, my family. You have to remember that even though we have our own lives and our own walks and our own reality and our own perspectives, our little world, our little bubble affects every other world around us. Because picture this, for my visionaries, picture this, close your eyes or whatever, just listen to what I'm saying. If I am full of depression, sadness, fear, and anger, and I come around someone else who feels the same, then my depression, anger, and fear is going to amplify and enforce yours. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that same atmosphere, that same vibration, that same frequency that's around you, and you're going to pass it on to someone else. And then it's going to continue. But on the contrary, if I remain in my light and my love and my joy. And I come around someone who is full of fear, depression, and just can't get their mind right. My little world, my bubble will begin to merge with yours, and I can give you some of my light. I can give you some hope. I'm not going to allow you to drain me, but I'm going to give you some encouragement so that begin to spark up something within your mind, within your soul, to think differently, to believe again. And then someone else comes with their joy and their light and their happiness, and they begin to merge with your world just for a few minutes, and they give you their light, their love, and now you have more hope in your life, more encouragement, and so on and so forth. We think that how we feel doesn't affect the greater collective, but it does. Even though we are small pieces to a large puzzle, what we think, what we feel, what we speak will affect those around us, whether you believe it or not. Yes, we are all small, but dust in the wind. But we hold a piece to the greater picture, the greater thing in life, the greater scheme of things, believe it or not. So your voice, your joy, your fear, your anger, it all plays a role in the reality that you have in your life and what you begin to project onto others. And I say this all to say is that yes, we all have a choice. We have free will. We can do whatever we want with our emotions. But if you are tired of being mad, angry, if you are tired of the disunity, of the separation, of the hate, then it's time to begin to become intentional. When we don't address our anger, our emotions, I'm not telling you to ignore it. I'm definitely not telling you to ignore it. I need you to feel that. The biggest lie told is that when we begin to ignore our emotions, then, we'll be okay. It's better to just not pay attention to it. No, that is a lie. Because what it is a weed amongst the wheat. That anger, that discord, that frustration that you feel is supposed to be felt, but it's also supposed to be dealt with. You're not supposed to just leave that there. And again, anger in itself isn't wrong. It's what we do with that anger and what we don't do with that anger. So when you begin to alchemize that, take that anger and turn it into happiness or love. Take that hate and turn it into love. Take that sadness and turn it into joy. That is what we need. We need people who can begin to alchemize their emotions, change it up, change the programming, change the response system. I'm telling you, because when you change the response system, we're going to see change within our lives. I actually had a dream. I had a dream a little bit before everything began to go down with ICE, when all these things started to happen more and more within the media, when they began to increase in the media. And with everything else, before the Epstein files began to finally be released and be exposed within social media, I had a dream. And I had a dream that there was a system around us. This dream wasn't a dream. This is reality. I need my people to hear this. There was a system and a plan enforced. And the people were robots. We were fleshed out robots. And the only reason why we became fleshed out robots is because we were responding through emotions. We were allowing our emotions to dictate our actions, and we will begin to take on a robot form. So we were flesh, but when we responded through programming, when we responded without thinking, when we responded without awareness, we took on a metal robotic form. But when we paused, when we waited, When we were self-aware, we remained in flesh. We remained in spirit. And so I say that because this is real life. This is how it's really working. The agenda, the programming, the system feeds off of our disrupted nervous systems. Because someone who isn't at peace with themselves, someone who isn't at peace with what is going on, someone who is disoriented will fall into anything. But those who are stable, anchored in love, anchored in faith, anchored in hope, can see, can feel, can discern what is happening and can respond accordingly. Listen, I'm not political. I don't know if I said this already. I am not I don't have a preferred political party. I believe they're all the same. But I know how the political system affects our emotions, our mental health, our communities, our families, our way of living. There's no escaping it. And so I vow to never really speak about the politics, and I'm not really speaking about politics, but I am speaking about how it is affecting the people. And the people is what I care about. And so, how can we remain soft-hearted, remain present, feel, feel it, get angry, get mad, get mad. I get mad. Shoot. Because if we're not getting mad, then I don't know what's going on. Then you might already be a robot. You might be already in programming and you might need to deprogram yourself. You might need a whole new reboot system. Because if you're not feeling, and this is not to judge you or to make you feel bad, but you should be feeling this. We all should be feeling this. And if you don't, it might be because you just don't care and it's not your, it's not your war, and that's fine. That's fine. No hate towards you. Maybe you already have the balance. Maybe you are feeling it, but you're not allowing it to affect you. Then go listen. Kudos to you. We need more people like you for real. This is not even being sarcastic. This is being for real. Like we need what you have. We need you to speak a bit more, speak up more. But we need to remain pure-hearted. How do we do that? Get in community. Connect with your family. Look at the things that you can be grateful for. Nothing's changed. It's all the same. Everything is the same. Everything that I've said from last year's podcast to this year. Look at what you can be grateful for. Go outside. If it's snowing, play in the snow for a little bit. I know it's cold. If it's sunny, go for a walk. If you have a beach by you or water, go sit by the water. Say thank you. Thank you. Turn on some music. Dance. Dance that thing out. Move your body. If you gotta sing and sing a song, sing it out. If you gotta paint, if you gotta beat on those drums, beat the drums, man. But alchemize it. Use those emotions and turn it into something positive. I'm telling you, it'll bring such a difference in your life and in your atmosphere. But seriously, I really feel like now's the time to really build community. Because think about it. And I'll end with this, I think. But think about it. Hollywood is crumbling before our eyes. Governmental systems crumbling. Actors, all those things being exposed. But on the other side of the spectrum, you have your local artists, the poets, the writers, the book writers, the DJs, the rappers, the actors, the actresses, the painters. They're still creating. How about we change our attention from those who are being dismantled and exposed and begin to give attention to those who have been ignored? Like your local family, like your local communities. How about we stop looking at the negative that is happening within the arts and entertainment from the elite, and we start looking at the people right next to us and start building them up. Start creating communities for them. Start giving them opportunities. Because I know there are many people out there with finances that can do that. You might not be a part of the elite. You might have elite money. But if you can invest your resources, if you can sponsor an artist, a producer, a rapper, then do that. Let's build a new community. Let's build a new world. While the old one is disrupting and dismantling and being exposed, we can be creating our own world. You see how perspective changes everything? How we can stop looking at the negative and start building with positive? What if we had that mindset? What if screenwriters and playwriters and producers and directors came together with local actors and actors and began to perform and create movies, underground videos? What if we did this more and made it affordable for those who are up and coming and start building our own community? Come on. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about doing things with intention and awareness and changing what we are paying attention to. How about you change your algorithm, change your programming from the things that are happening from around the world and start creating a new while the other one is being destroyed? I love it. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. And I'm sure I'm not the first one to think about it, but I'm talking about it now because it came to me. Why not? Why not? I hope I touched on everything. I feel like there's so much to discuss when it comes to remaining and retaining a clean, good heart. And I know, listen, none of us are really pure and holy. None of us are perfect in all our ways, but we can protect our mind, we can protect our energy, we can protect our emotions, our heart from the things that are around us because once again, that is what they want. They want someone who is easy to manipulate, easy to control. They feed off of it. So, so good. All things good. There are good things happening around the world. I actually looked some things up because you know what? I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of the bad news. Let's look at some good news for once. And so I began to look it up. There are things happening around the world that we might not know of. Renewable energy is actually the fastest growing energy source globally. Both solar and wind are cheaper than fossil fuels in many regions. You have, you have mental health communities. You have men coming together to heal. If that is not progress, I don't know what is. You have communities being built. You have more companies focusing on mental health. You have more mental health awareness being spread out throughout the world. That's good news. That is good news. You have more organizations, more wellness events within the communities. They're like everywhere now. So like that's something good to brag about, right? More people are building their own businesses. You have farms out there who are producing. There are ways around this. People, this is the point of me saying this. We don't need to be relying on one system. There are people stepping into their purpose. And guess what? When they step into their purpose, they begin to create opportunities. They begin to create innovation. There's innovation happening. There's ideas. There's projects. There's resources. There's job opportunities because other people are building. But we're not supporting these people. What if we started supporting our local businesses? And what if we start supporting our local entrepreneurs, our local musicians? We're so accustomed. I'm going to end here because I don't want to keep going. But we're so accustomed to what we already have that we forget that we can create something different. And I'll end there. I'll end there. I think I went a little bit of everywhere, but I think the conversation was pretty good. I think the discussion was good because I spoke on different topics, different things that can begin to shift our perspective and do things differently. Unplug. If you have to unplug to get your mind right, to get your heart right again, then do that. But also alchemize. Change what you are feeling and turn it into something positive. I've gave plenty of examples. Write them down. Create your own examples. Those are just the surface level based examples that I've given. There's so many more that we can discuss, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. But I wanted to help you, wanted to spark something up within you to bring hope, light, and joy during this time. And listen, trust and believe that before things get better, they have to get worse. Because before we see the light at the end of the tunnel, we have to go through darkness. Before the phoenix begins to rise, we have to go through pain. Before a beautiful baby is born, there has to be labor pains. So that's where we are in the birthing pains. We're going through the darkness so that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I truly believe this with everything that's within me. And I hope you do too. Until next time, I'm your host, your coach, Jovanna Cirillo. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to the All Things Good podcast so that you can have some glimmer of hope in your life in a dark world. I'll talk to you next time. Until then, peace out.